Hello, everybody, and welcome to a joint Wized and Memberstack stream. Today we are joined with Julian Galluzzo from Memberstack and David Voge from Petit Hack. David built Sendingflow, and Sendingflow was the third place winner of all the contestants as part of our sass competition. If you don't know about the sass competition, we have a lot of information about that. We have videos. It was huge success. And we are going to do a stream with the top three winners, and David is one of those. So David is part of the Petit Hack agency, and Sendingflow is now this cool new product that was built with Wized and Memberstack. So everybody in the audience, say hello, say where you are typing in from, and I'll say hello to Julian and David. What's up? How's it going, David?
Hello, all good here. Thanks. Thank you to have me here, and we start to apologize for my rusted English, but I think it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, I think it will. We like to keep it light. We like to keep it cool. Everything's going to be fun. So yeah, we're going to have a good time here. And really, our goal is to advertise your app, tell people how it can help their company, help your agency, help your clients, and then also hopefully inspire some people. Right? I would love at least one person watching in this audience to be inspired by David, to be inspired by what has been done here and go and do something in the future. So those are our goals for today. We're keeping it cool. Julian, how you doing? What's up?
Well, I'm cooking. 100 plus degrees Fahrenheit over here. Other than that, I am excellent. I'm excited for this. Sendingflow was definitely one of my favorites in the competition, mainly just because, I mean, besides the idea itself, it was just so well built and so polished feeling right off the bat. So I'm really excited to get into not only the product, but how such a product was built in that amount of time. So yeah, as always, I'm excited.
Yeah, and really the email topic in Webflow has not evolved pretty much ever in the entire history of Webflow. I mean, we've been using Webflow for years and years, and forms just really haven't done much. So this kind of add-on, it's valuable. People are wanting it. They're needing it. It's not something that is available natively. So yeah, that's the beauty of this product ecosystem. People are creating products that fill the gaps that can't be made by the company like Webflow. So let's get into it. Let's start learning about Sendingflow. Let's start to hear this story and jump right into it. Julian.
Yeah, so the first thing I'd love to talk about, and it's something that all of us here on the stream are definitely going to be able to relate to each other on, and probably most of the people watching as well, because we all either currently or have worked with agencies. And what I want to ask about is email itself. Like you were saying, Joe, it has not evolved. And it's something that I remember setting up for my clients in what felt like a very primitive way, but also being the only way to set up autoresponders, to send out email campaigns, all of that. So, David, if you could talk a little bit about why you actually built Sendingflow to begin with, that is something I'd love to hear.
Yeah, I think I can just start to say that I'm not a designer. I'm not a developer. I started my career as a content manager and SEO. So it's something I used to do for clients working with email. And yeah, when I started to work on Webflow, it's been really frustrating for me as a freelancer at the beginning to just like try to build systems through thanks to Make and Zapier to have something like efficient for the clients. And most of the time, clients called me 2 weeks after the launch, and they were like, "Oh, we are starting to receive alert message from Make." I was using mostly Make, and yeah, so it was the beginning. I started to build the system in Make, which was more robust than what I was doing at the beginning. And then, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago when we started to work with way more, then I was like, hell yeah, I need to build something for emails because it's what we need for our clients. And at least if nobody buy the tool, at least we know that we can use it for our clients. And I think that was the beginning of Sendingflow story, just to have something like good enough to onboard our clients and make sure that we won't have to come back to fix small stuff. Like it's hard to like keep the client trust when the make scenario breaks all the time. So yeah, that's the story.
Oh yeah, I know I get a ton of those emails from Make, and it's okay when it comes to little automations, but when it's something kind of crucial, such as this, you really don't like to check your email inbox after 4 days. I feel like our industry is very lazy with emails too, so that happens a lot. And then realize that your emails haven't been going out for like a week. So a question that I have for you is pre-Sendingflow, what did it look like? You have a client, let's say, who says, well, when someone fills out my form, I want them to get an email automatically, and then I want them to get, a drip sequence for another like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. What, in a very basic way, how would you explain that process looked before?
Yeah, so I think we had two different scenarios. The first one was for like very static website, so for a company who will not use Webflow on a daily basis. So in this case, we were using Webflow Logic actually to ping Active Campaign. So it's the tool I was using, and yeah, so we called the Active Campaign API, and then we were launching the scenario. It's great, it's super good, but it's not flexible for the client. If they change anything on the form, then it breaks. We all tried with the logic, and it's really complicated to work with that. And also it breaks the staging, so it's yeah, not the best scenario. So this other scenario was to like create a webhook thanks to Make, and then listen for the form subscription submissions. But the thing is that you cannot filter which email each form send triggers the scenario. So you needed you needed a router to just like create a lot of scenario within your scenario. So it's great, but if the clients change something, then it breaks everything, or at least one route. And yeah, so yeah, and I think it's what most of the people are doing with emailing at the moment in Webflow. So
Yeah.
it's not idealistic for clients.
No, that is pretty much exactly what I used to do. And you're right. It's okay if you set it up right off the bat. But the reality is that clients like to touch their websites more than we would like them to. And that is going to happen. And hopefully you have good clients who would say, I touched the website. Oops. Can you please help me here? But often it's they don't know what they did. And then they start freaking out at you and saying that you broke their website. Uh, so seems like, at least in this case, that solves that problem. And I would love to see from you now, if possible, how it looks. So I know you've got a demo account and you've got a demo form there. Very simple. Show me how it would look to set it up so that when someone fills out that form, they're going to get at least one email sent to them.
Yeah, let's go.
Sweet. Let's do it.
Yep. So here we are. We are on the dashboard. So everything is set up here. So I don't need to like connect my domains and all of that, but it's quite easy to do in the settings. So here I will use the demo.sendingflow app domain. And then also I can create as many email as I want, just in Sendingflow. So yeah, I don't need to connect anything. As soon as the domain is verified, then I can just do my life. And yeah, if I want to create So yeah, I think I need to talk about the system. So basically, we have templates, we have campaigns, and then those campaigns can be assigned to any form you want. So you can have just one campaign and then assign it to all your forms. You can also create multiple campaigns and then reuse them where you want as well. So first thing, I need to create a template, and then here I am. So I can give a name to my template, template demo, and then here I can choose my email address, and then I can just work with that. So we decided to not overthink this part because we are working on a Webflow to HTML email HTML solution. So it's the future of this editor. But here it's quite simple. So you have the subject and then the preview and then preview here. And then you have, it breaks. Why? Okay.
Always happens at the
Now
wrong
it
time.
works.
There we go.
Yeah, it's demo time, so
Of
it
course.
breaks. But here I have a very basic HTML editor. So that's what I wanted to build. The issue with emailing is that the more design you include in your email, the less you reach the inbox. And that's something which is complicated because customers, more especially in marketing teams, they do want to have like a really nice email with a lot of images. And it's something I actually don't want to do, but as the users want that, we will work with the Webflow to HTML with a lot of recommendation, and then like this, they can do whatever they want. So here, so let's say this email, and I will redo that really quickly. Preview, and my email. So I can test email or publish the template. So now, as soon as it's published, then I can like use it here, and I can use it in my campaigns. So I will use a campaign I already created, but then I will add. I will just change the email. So here is the trigger. So basically, what we had in make, which is like the form submission. And then no matter the trigger, because we will work with that later, it will send instantly an email. And then here I can choose the delay and I can add another one. So this email is the one we created. And yeah, I can publish my campaign. So now it's updated, and I just have to go into the automation sections. And then here I have my Webflow forms. Basically, I can synchronize my forms if I want to. And yeah, the order changed. But yeah, here it's really simple as well. I just have to select the form I want to, and I can assign a campaign to this form. And yep, now it's done. So if I'm using this really, really nice form here, then
Beautiful.
we all know this one. And yeah, I can add here. I will just submit multiple form because I don't know which one is a good one.
That's okay.
Yeah, and yeah. So like this, I can open my email.
Currently
tool.
not seeing any email, but
Yeah, it's my up. Here it is, and it's not this email. This one is the one I sent earlier, so it should arrive. Did I use this email? Obviously. So most of the time, it reaches the inbox in 1 second, which is quite awesome. And here,
oh yeah,
it's not here, obviously. But yeah, that's a demo feeling. Luckily, most of our clients didn't have this issue yet.
oh yeah, that's okay. It happens. One thing as well that you said that is interesting to me is I personally, when I get emails and they're filled with design and all that stuff, I don't really want that in my inbox Whereas whenever I get some sort of even promotional email, but it's just very much so plain text, it makes me more, I guess it makes me want to read it more. It feels more real to me. But that being said, I have worked on email with clients, and no client wants those plain text emails. And one thing that I think would be really, really cool, and I'm curious to hear if you've thought about this as a feature, is allowing people to build email templates visually within Webflow.
Yeah, I think it's something we have to think about with the Webflow to email HTML, because you cannot transform a web page into an email. So you need to respect some guidelines. And yeah, I think it's something we will have to work on, mostly because like people will have to start from something. This is good setup for your email, and then you can use it, customize it, and do whatever you want. But yeah, that's kind of it. And if I can add something here, so here we do have the forms trigger, but then if I'm going into the settings, we can now integrate Memberstack. So yeah, let's say I connected the Memberstack account. So now it's unlocked, so you can assign campaign to the Memberstack triggers. So when you create a user, when a member delete its account, or when you cancel this plan, then we'll just send him a campaign and then eventually offer him a discount or something to come back.
Yes, that is super exciting, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is something new that wasn't here immediately after the competition was done. And the reason why that is so exciting is because we have a lot of customers at Memberstack who ask us, why can't we do that? Why can't we set up email campaigns within Memberstack? And well, the answer is you can't within Memberstack. That's it. That's it. But once you mentioned that integration, that got me really, really, really excited, because now somebody can hook that up. And then, for example, when a customer of your app cancels their plan, you can send them an email right after to say, hey, if you want to come back, here's a coupon code. Keep following up with them. Set up really any kind of campaign you want. That is really exciting. That is something that I think most Memberstack customers would really, really, really want to use. So I'm super excited about that integration. And I guess in regards to the product, one final question I have is, what is next? What are some things that you want to add to the product that aren't there yet?
So as I said, I think the next release will be the Webflow to email. That's something I really want to work on. And I think the second release will be an agency plan or something like this. So here we are really into one website workspace, and it's really hard for agency to upsell something like this. But if the agency has its own workspace, then they can just invite their clients, manage everything at the same place, create access for their clients, and then so I think it's the biggest project we have at the moment, because it's it's quite easy to have to work with something like this right now. We will have to rethink the app, more especially the back end for the agency workspace.
Yeah, that will be really, really great. I'm sure a lot of agency customers are going to want to use that. And also, if you have that, if you have a Memberstack integration, and if you have Webflow to email, I think that the entire community is going to want to use that simply for that one feature alone, but all of them together. That is awesome. So I guess one thing I want to move on to now is actually the competition from the start. Before I do that, Joe, in regards to the product and everything that we just talked about, do you have any thoughts?
Well, I'm impressed. Honestly, I'm surprised nobody has come up with this before. This is totally needed, right? This is something that I feel like half of our agency clients would want to learn more about. So yeah, David, I think you really just nailed it on the use case. I think some of the best products that we'll see over the next few years are from agencies who have the direct experience of what real companies are asking for. This is the most important experience. So, David, you came up with this whole idea because your clients needed this concept. That's how all Finsweet products have been created. That's how I would recommend anybody who wants to create products to also think. So, David, I think you really did a great job in targeting that challenge that so many people are facing and trying to capitalize on it. I think this has a lot of potential. I think it's valuable now, and I think the future holds potential for you. So, yeah, I'm a fan. Great job.
Thank you. Crossing fingers.
Yes.
Agreed, 100%.
And
I'm
audience, you
sure-
can help. The audience, you can help in this, right? If you think this app is cool, give it a try, right on the homepage. Start now, 7 days free trial. That means you can give it a try without paying anything. So go ahead and do that. It's sendingflow.app. Sign up, and if you like it, right, if we can get a bunch of people to like it, that is now going to give Sendingflow that chance to continue growing.
Yes. And we have some stuff from the viewers, by the way, that I would love to get into. Another thing that just came back into my mind that you mentioned, David, is that you built it and you know that even if nobody pays for it, you can still use it yourself. That is such a great way to build products. One thing that I think there isn't enough of in the industry right now is, I guess, ambition to start these things. Like you said, Joe, how has nobody done this yet? I have absolutely no idea. None whatsoever, because I think a lot of people are scared to start these products because what if nobody buys it? But if you're building stuff that you can use yourself, even if nobody buys it, there is no risk. You're either building a cool tool or a product that you can sell. That is one of the best foundations to build a product. And not to mention, if you're building it for yourself because you're the target market, you can build a much, much, much better product for your target market. Well, because you understand them. And yeah, so we have some questions here. If we can pull up the first one from Sylvan. And this is one I'm very interested in hearing your thoughts on, David. I can just read it as well. So Sylvan is wondering if you will consider, David, usage-based pricing, such as paying per email or anything like that, or is it not kind of that, I guess, attractive from a financial standpoint to you guys?
I think it's a good question. So that's what I had in mind at the beginning. The issue that it's hard to build something for 0.02 cents, and I think that's the biggest issue with usage based subscriptions for email. So yeah, I think something we have in mind, because at the moment the offers are really small, I would say, with the sending for big clients. We will probably try to standardize the offers, and then have like one small, one medium, one big, and then we'll be able to add some add-ons instead. So you will have, like, I don't know, maybe 10,000 emails per for each offer, and then some add-ons if you want more email. And then after that, you can think about the usage base, but you need to have like a ground price, if I can call it like this, just to make sure that it works, and it can work.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it is kind of tough to just go full on usage based, but some combination of the two can work very well, just because then your customers are getting exactly what they're paying for. There's less of that worry of, am I going to pay for it and then not use it very much? And one thing I want to mention in regards to Memberstack and Wized is setting up usage-based pricing is actually really, really, really easy. I made a tutorial on it. Basically, you go in and you set it up in Stripe, and then you can use Wized to send an action into Stripe to say that this customer has used it. It doesn't take too long at all. It's something that I think a lot of people, depending on the business model, should think about adding to their product. And we have another question as well from Glenn here. And Glenn is wondering if you mind saying which platform you're using to handle the emails.
Yeah, that's a good one. So we built everything on top of Resend. So I don't know if you know Resend. It's probably the best emailing platform API you can find. A lot of people are using, what's the name of this? I forgot the name, but it's SendGrid. I think SendGrid was the biggest API for email at the moment, but Resend is way more powerful than SendGrid. And yeah, everything is awesome. I love this product, and the API documentation is just incredible. And yeah, so we used Resend.
Nice. I actually have not heard of that before. I think I've heard of SendGrid, Twilio, Postmark. Never heard of Resend, and that is something I'm going to look into now. Super, super valuable insight. And now, if we can move on to the competition itself. So I remember seeing your application and immediately thinking exactly what Joe said, which is, how has no one else done this yet? And I actually Googled to see if someone else has done it when you submitted your application out of curiosity, and I didn't find anything. So when that application was sent, I guess a question that I have is, did you already know that you guys were going to be building that, or was that something you came up with for the competition?
No, so we had that in mind. Maybe I think we started to think about this project in January or something like this. But you have clients work, you have internal work. We were in the middle of redesign of our brand, and so it was here.
Okay.
And then when I saw the post about the competition, we didn't have time for that. But I wrote to my co-founder, and I was like, okay, so we will do Sendingflow during the competition.
Yes.
No, I needed this kick in my ass to move.
Yeah, it definitely helps. I know sometimes I can think about something for the longest time and then just never actually get to it. And then whenever something forces me to get to it, it goes by a lot quicker than expected. That being said, you are with an agency. I think you're a co-founder. I'm not sure. Point is, you are in an agency. And with that being said, to work on Sendingflow, it takes time, right? I'm really interested to hear anything you can share about how you actually managed to bring that up on the priority list.
So this is the question. So I basically split my days in two. So in the morning, I was cleaning all the client works, and then really into the operation, checking that the team has what they needed to work, and then during the afternoon, I was building everything for Sendingflow. So it's like this part with the operation, the development, and then for the design. So I'm not a designer. So the Lola in our team built all the Figma files, and then she worked with Stefan, which is my co-founder. So he was in charge to run the business when I was working on Wized, and review all the brands and assets that she produced.
Nice. Shout out to her, because the design is beautiful. Definitely. And from that point, when you got started, could you walk me through start to finish, anything interesting that happened along the way, how building it went, anything that comes to mind while you were building it?
So it's been not easy because it was like the email editor has been a pain in the ass. Honestly, it's the worst thing ever. I tried to use some library, and so this part has been the worst. And I know that I don't have enough time to build something cool enough for a tool like Sendingflow. So that's why I will work with Webflow instead. But yeah, it's been quite easy because we have our process. So it's so we had the user journey at the beginning, then we split all the features, and then I really tried to focus on what I could build, I would say. So yeah, so for each feature, I was like, okay, we need that, or this this step will bring to this one. So it's been built by the tech. It was not the project that designers are reflecting about or this kind of thing. I was like, okay, we need that. This is the what I need in the back. This is what I need from you. When they had recommendation, I was like, okay, do I have? Can I find the information in 2 minutes, or should I just reject the proposition? And yeah, so design, it's yeah, it's been quite quick. So the few days we did a lot. I think we had the onboarding process. I think all the systems worked, but yeah, the end, fixing the bugs, making sure the analytics are correct, trying to understand how email analytics actually work, because it's just like complicated, and we're thinking about removing like opening rate or this kind of stuff because it impacts the deliverability. Um, so yeah, nothing worse, like nothing worse to mention, I would say. Just it's been a process and in a rush.
It is, but the important question for you is, can someone build a SaaS in 2 weeks with Wized and Memberstack?
Yeah, I think so. Like my frustration is
I
that
think so.
I only work on Sendingflow half a day. So if I had more times during those 2 weeks, would have been awesome. But yeah, it is possible, and maybe like emailing is complicated, but you can build a SaaS with just one feature in 2 weeks, definitely. And that's
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I think that's the nicest part of this competition, that people realize that they can do it.
Yeah.
At the beginning, we're like, okay, let's try. And the
Yeah.
more we were close to the end, the more I was like, okay, so we can end the project, and eventually we can win and reach the top three competitors. Like, like you have the competition, and even though it was really cool between each competitors, people commented every day what we were doing and sharing some love. It's a competition, so at the end you want to try to win the competition.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely. And what was I going to say? While I'm thinking of that, Joe, anything that you have to say, anything that you want to ask as well to the audience?
Yeah, well, David, it was nice to go through all those steps there, and I think it's really true for scaling any kind of products. As you start to build it and get into it, you realize there's more and more that you can do. Maybe you don't have to do it, right? And we're not telling you that you should build a SaaS in 2 weeks and then never update it again, right? 2 weeks is not front start to finish 100% done. 2 weeks is start to finish launching an MVP that works, that has some value, that people can make a decision if they like or not. So David, just really clear that you had some troubles, had some challenges, and those are things that you're overcoming. And that if you're getting into products, you have to get used to that. You have to get used to, do I create this feature? Do I not? Do I listen to this user? Do I not? Do I want to grow this application, or do I want to just keep these one or two features and make sure that these one or two features are perfect? Right? There's so many of these decisions, and you go back and forth and working with teams. So it's a big iterative process. And David, I think your story of your process made that clear. A lot of steps, a lot of iterations, a lot of communication and teamwork. So yeah, just kudos to sticking with it and actually completing the competition and creating something that's a strong base for growth. Yeah, really cool.
Yeah. Something that I want to add some focus to as well, and then something that I want to ask you, David, is the fact what you were saying with the email editor. I don't know about you, but well, you said it yourself. Any product that you're building, or even website for that matter, I think anyone here who has built anything a little bit more complicated, a little bit out of their comfort zone, let's say, there is always just like one cursed aspect of that website or of that product that you're building, which takes up like half of your time. And especially when it comes to web app development, I think it's something that shocks a lot of people and maybe discourages them, but that is just a part of the process. You are going to build out, 90% of the app in like 30% of the time. And then it's just this final nagging bit that, kills your brain, but that's it. And that is a crucial part to getting it done. So anyone in here who hasn't experienced that yet, be ready, because as soon as you start building, you're going to find that one cursed feature. And on that note, especially when it comes, you let me know before the stream that you had been using Wized before. This is the second product that you've delivered using Wized. Let's step back to that first one now and talk about, I guess, what was it like? Like the first time you opened up Wized, did you just go in, use it, get the hang of it, and start building something? Or was there some confusion, I guess? Like, how did it go right when you first started?
Yeah, good question. So I was part of the beta tester of Wized when Finsweet launched the 2.0. And yeah, I think I just watched the tutorials. So just one evening, I watched I think at this time you had only maybe 5 or 6 tutorials. I never worked with any backend in the past. And then, yeah, I think I was so impressed. Just it makes a lot of sense. It made a lot of sense to me. So I just started to build stuff. And that's kind of how it started. So Sendingflow is not the second project we're delivering. It's the second product we are launching as internally, I would say, but we are also like a shipping project on with Petit Hack. But yeah, it's just like the learning curve is also it's crazy. But as soon as you are comfortable with one database, so we are using Xano, and as soon as you understand how Wized works, it's just crazy. And you can I feel that we can do everything now with Wized or no code in general, but I would not use Bubble or anything else anymore, because when you work with Webflow, you have Wized on top of that, and then you can just connect yourself to the world. And yeah, I think it's it's cool. And then when you launch the new interface in Wized and all these those new features a few months ago, then I was like, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Nice. David, you're obviously a quick learner, which is great, and obviously a bit of a natural. I know that I've spoken to several people who tried to watch the videos and get into it and just didn't click with them. But if you're telling me, hey, you got into it and it just clicked and it made sense, that means you're a natural. So good for you, quick learner. Love to see that. I guess I'd love to ask what your biggest challenge was in learning how to build this product. Don't talk about the email challenges. Don't talk about anything really specific with your app. Just maybe general blockers that kind of unlock that next step for you. So somebody who's listening who may be learning, what's that wall they need to get past that gets you to the next step there?
I think it's like the competition helps because we had a delivery date. So that's important because when you work with clients, you have a delivery date, but then if they want more feature, you can say, okay, but we need 2 weeks or 1 week extra or this kind of things. Here, it was not negotiable. So I think the biggest challenge was to scope the old project from the beginning. We didn't have time to take time. So, okay, so how many days do we need in design? Which features are key? Which features are not? The could have, should have, would have. Uh, and when I was working on the app, I realized that I was spending way too much time on tiny stuff. I wanted the loader to load. I wanted, these kind of things. And so, yeah, I would say that if you want to build something quick and launch your MVP, just focus on the key features. I should have spent way more time on the email editor, and I focused way too much on how the people are onboarded or how the settings looks like or this kind of stuff, which is okay because I want something nice at the end. But so yeah, scoping and trying to estimate time for each task, it's the biggest challenge for me every time, I think.
And something that I find helps with that quite a bit is to just not allow yourself to spend too much time on any one feature until the entire product is done. I don't mean launch ready, but build out everything and have it all working together in its worst possible form. But that way you can look at the entire product as one. And then you can look and say, what needs more work? What needs my attention? What's good enough? And what's not. I have 5 days left. How am I going to take it from this, choppy, not very well performing product into something that is usable? Because I have done the exact same thing. I've spent way too much time on little things, realized I'm over engineering one feature when I still need to build another 40. So I could definitely relate to you on that one. And another question that I have for you, and what I'm really interested to hear about, is you were building with Wized before there was an app for Memberstack, and obviously you built Sendingflow as well with Memberstack. So I'm interested to hear from you, how, I guess, was it different without versus with Memberstack in Wized?
So yeah, I worked with Memberstack 1 in the past. So I was not really, I didn't have any opinion on Memberstack, because I didn't try the tool after. And yeah, so I thought that it would be complicated for me, compared to resend for emailing or scoping or this kind of thing. So I was expecting Memberstack to be a challenge. And then as soon as I started to configure the account, I was like, oh, is it done? And it was so easy. Honestly, I don't want to over promote, even though I think it's nice for people to know that it's easy to use. But I think both works really well. So there are still some features that I didn't understand, such as opening the portal, Stripe portal through Wized. Never understood. But yeah, just like I don't have to work with like user anymore. Everything is in Memberstack. I just have to check Memberstack to check the payment, and is the payment okay? Is the subscription okay? And yeah, the challenge with Memberstack is how you communicate the information between Memberstack and Xano, because I need to have the ID in Xano because I need
Yes.
workspaces. And I think this is the mistake I've done, because I saw that it's possible to have join account, like not join account, but you can share a workspace in Memberstack. So you can
Yeah.
invite someone on your subscription, but I didn't know the feature was available. So I built like a copy of, so like when I'm creating the user in Memberstack, I'm saving the workspace ID of Xano. So like this, I can communicate between both of them. So
Yeah. I definitely get it. And one thing that I am well aware that I need to work on is some videos about using the stack together with Xano, because I am just more used to Supabase, so I've focused tutorials on that. But I know probably the majority of the community is using Xano. And one thing I want to say is, yeah, I did not ask David about his experience with MemberStack before this. So I'm glad to hear that. His answer could have been sucks and is totally useless. But as we can see, it wasn't. And that is the exact same thing that I felt when I first reached out to the Finsweet team. I was just getting used to using Wized. I was trying it out. I was seeing how everything worked. And all of these features, all these things that MemberStack offers are somewhat complicated to build out yourself. And a lot of people could just get stuck on the basics when they're building the boilerplate for their app on how do I even, what is auth? How do I make it work? How do I set up Google Auth? All of these things. And that was when it clicked for me that, okay, wait, using MemberStack with Wized is going to allow people to actually do this much, much, much quicker. And my final note, I guess, on that front is that I'm really, really excited for the next competition, for one reason specifically, which is that I think at the very least one entry into the next competition is not only going to be using Memberstack and Wized and Xano and whatever else, but also using Sendingflow to send out their emails to their new members. And I'm almost sure that's going to happen, and I'm really excited to see it, honestly.
yeah, we will come back as well as a new product.
Oh yeah, very good.
Yeah, that's cool. Each year you get extra points if you use the previous year's winners. It's like bonus points integrating those products. That's cool.
Yes, exactly.
Great.
And one final thing, I think, and then I'm really happy with how this chat went, is if you didn't already know, Sendingflow is live on Product Hunt today, and people are looking and trying it out. And anyone in this community who's been following along, who's been watching Sendingflow, who's excited about the product, who's inspired by the journey that the builders have taken to make it happen, check it out on Product Hunt. I'm not going to tell you specifically to upvote or comment, but if you feel like you should, then go ahead and do it, definitely. And of course, the video, if this helped you, give it a like. And for me, that's all, David. Thank you so much. I'm really amazed with this. I'm so excited to see the future of what Sendingflow is. I'm excited to use it more myself, and I'm excited to see you as well in the next competition. So that's all for me. Joe, any closing thoughts?
Yes, was a great talk. Thank you everybody for coming. If you like this content, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you want to follow up, keep up to date with all things Wiz. We're doing more of these types of streams. We're doing more of this type of content, more of these competitions. So follow along. David, Julian, thank you so much for this conversation. And we'll be back Yeah, see you next week, Wednesday at the same time. We have another stream just like this, outlining the winners next week, next Wednesday. See you there. Thank you, everybody.
Yep.
See you soon.
Bye.
Thank you. See you soon, everyone.